everyone. I am your host, Tejana, and welcome to the All Things Lifestyle Podcast. So, on this podcast, it's going to be like lifestyle, beauty, fashion, current events, like all things lifestyle, like talk about home decor, recommendations, like I said, beauty, fashion, current things I'm loving, just things like that, and just things going on in life. These are all things that I like to talk about, and that's what inspired me the most to start a podcast. So, since this is the first episode of my podcast, I will start off with some things about me, like, just a little background. So, like I currently mentioned, I am completely new to podcasting. I started listening to podcasts a lot during COVID time. Like when COVID started happening, I started listening to podcasts a lot. And then within the past few months, I started thinking about starting my own podcast. So, and that's where it led me to today. So today I'm just chilling. I got my tea, just good vibes, and I'm just like, just go ahead and just start recording. So, like I said, more about me. I'm originally from Erie, Pennsylvania, and I grew up in Virginia as well. I am currently in the Air Force. I am stationed in Texas. I've been in for almost 7 years now. I'm a very chill person. Some things I like to do is try different restaurants and recipes. Another thing I got into a lot too is cooking during COVID. Of course, couldn't go anywhere, so I would start looking up so many recipes, cooking different foods, and got into that more. I also like to shop and binge watch my favorite shows or movies. Um, Two shows that I could watch all the time and never get sick of it. Well, maybe three. Okay, these are like my top three. The Game, with Melanie and Derwin, Girlfriends, and Grey's Anatomy. Those are my top three. I could watch them over and over again, never get sick of it. It's so funny because, like, y'all know, like, if you're, like, at an interview or anything and they're like, oh, tell me about yourself. That's kind of how I feel right now, where I'm like, I'm trying to think of things, like, to say about me, but I'm like, what do I say? Trying to think of things, like, off the top of my head. Some more about me. I also love to travel, hang out with close friends and family. But that's all I can think of right now. Of course, you guys can follow my Instagram. That's SHAETAEE at Shayte, and also follow the podcast Instagram at All Things Lifestyle Podcast. So I would like this podcast to be more like a chit chat vibe. Like, one thing I like when I'm listening to podcasts is feeling like I'm having a conversation with the host, with the podcast host. So that's the vibe I'm going for. Like, I want it to be more like conversational, and I'm gonna put more like topic recommendations on like the Instagram, and see if you guys can give me some topics to talk about as well. Like, I just want it to be more of a conversation. But like I mentioned before, I got inspired to do a podcast because I just like talking about, lifestyle things, giving recommendations to people. Like, a lot of things, like I say, like, if my mom or my sister or one of my friends, they're like, oh, I need something for this, I need this. And I'll have a recommendation for them. Or if I'm trying something new, I'll like tell them like, hey, try this out, blah, blah, blah. Like, I like to give out recommendations and stuff, and I like to talk about it. So I feel like a podcast would be a good outlet for that. So this episode, I'll be talking about my New Year goals and a little bit of about last year, some highlights, like some highlights from last year. So now that I got that little intro, kind of long, but I got that little introduction out the way. Happy New Year, everyone. It is 2022. We are in it. We are about more than halfway through January. So my New Year is kind of started a little late. I was just kind of lazy, to be honest. I was not feeling motivated, but I'm starting to get more motivated now. But yeah, I'm getting kind of got a slow start, but January's almost over. We're almost in February. Like, I be seeing those memes where it's like, oh, my New Year starting February 1st. Like, I feel that low key because I'm January is just kind of slow. but we're gonna get there. So last year, 2021, my 2021 recap. Honestly, I had a good year. It was a good year for me. I accomplished a couple goals that I set for the year, and I traveled a good amount. I had fun. I got to visit my family and friends. One of my favorite trips I took last year was with my family to Florida. We got like this big 10, I think it was like maybe 12. It was a lot of bedrooms. Big Airbnb. And we just had so much fun. Like we were cooking, laughing. It was just good vibes, like singing. We had a pool, so we were in the pool a lot. We played like volleyball in the pool, like Marco Polo, like those fun games. And it was just a vibe. Like, and I'm happy that we're starting this new tradition now where we're really trying to get together so much more. That was a great start to something new that we're doing. Um, Also, when I was in Florida, I got to go to SeaWorld for the first time. I never been to SeaWorld, and I know they have a couple um, in the country. So I went to the one in Orlando for the first time, and I had a ball. So I was thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe this is more for kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe this is more for kids. So I knew I was going to have fun, but I didn't think I was going to have that much fun. So we first walked in, like, it was so, a little quick story time. When I first walked in, I saw like a couple big rides, and I'm a roller coaster. I like roller coasters. Like, that's me. I like the thrill. So I seen a couple big rides, so I'm like, okay, yes, like this is okay. I'm gonna have fun. Like this is it. So and I'm with my little cousins, my sister, my uncles. We're all just there. It was a big group of us. So as we're walking through the park, just to walk around first, get a feel before we start, rides, playing games and stuff. So the first ride we get on, I think it was called the Aladdin. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was called the Aladdin. And then, so those rides where like you go down on the drop and then the water splashes, but the water didn't look like it splashed a lot. So I was like, okay, like, me and my cousins at first didn't really want to get on it, but I was like, we're right here. Let's just get it out the way. Like, me trying to get on the ride, like trying to be a kid and get on the ride. So we get on the ride, and me completely brain dumping about like the water situation when the drop happens. Me and my little cousin, we're like, oh, let's get in the front, let's sit in the front row, blah blah blah. Like, let's just sit in the front. And so we sit in the front. Again, like I said, me forgetting about the water splash. We got splashed the most. Like, I look back at my little cousins and I'm like, did y'all get wet? And they're like, barely. And me and my little cousin in the first row got soaking wet. Like, good thing it was a hot. It was this was in July, so it was hot. So we got to dry off like on our walking to the next ride, and doing our little games and stuff. But that, like, I completely forgot. I'm like, why? Because I always sit in the front, but I'm like, why did I sit in the front on this ride? Like, so of course, and then after, like, when we got off the ride, they had like this big like blow dryer. So we paid like $5 and we stood in there. It didn't even work, to be honest, but we just tried something fun. Um, so we attempted that, but we ended up drying off because, like I said, it was hot that day. So, but yeah, that was so fun. Like I said, we rode more rides, took pictures, ate good, games, all that kind of stuff. Had some nice, good drinks. Oh, we also saw a dolphin show. It was a good day. It was so exhausting. Like, that was an exhausting day. Like, being at a park all day when it's hot, exhausting. But we had fun. So that was like one of my favorite trips from last year. I'm gonna get into my favorite shows that I like really liked last year. I'm gonna say Sweet Life LA, Insecure, of course, and The Real Housewives. The ones I watched last year were Atlanta and Potomac. I think those are the only two that aired. I actually just started watching Salt Lake City, but Atlanta, Potomac, those ones I've been watching for a long time. But starting off with Sweet Life LA, I like that one because it's a reality show, but it's a relatable reality show. Like, young black people trying to find their way in life, doing the things that they love to do, hanging out with friends, trying to find their hustle. Some just graduated from college, just trying to find their way and just going through life. But it was more so, it was more on the reality side versus a show, like an actual show kind of side. And of course, they had some drama on there. Of course, I live for the drama. Okay, like I love the drama. That's why I love reality shows. First of all, like the situationships, the messiness, like. But again, it was also relatable. Like you'd be like, okay, like I know I've been through something like that, or I know somebody that's been through something like that. Like it is very relatable. Um, Also, the soundtrack of the show was just fire. Like I love the music they incorporated into it. Like literally the first episode, within the first 5 minutes, like they played a Nipsey song, and I'm like, yes, like I know this is a show that I'm gonna like. Um, but yeah, I liked that show, and I think they're gonna come out with season two. I think they said they're gonna come out with a second season, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully this year, that airs. Okay, and as far as Housewives, like they'll always be my favorite reality show. I've been watching it since the beginning. Like I said, love the drama. Because it's so petty. Like the things they argue about on it is so petty, but it's just funny. Like it's funny to see them argue. But honestly, I could go down a housewife spiral, but I'm not gonna do that today. We're gonna save that for another time. And of course, last but not least, Insecure. It took. I know with COVID and everything, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for Insecure, and I'm sad that it's over. Like I'm sad that this was the last season, but I loved how it ended. Like I watched it. I watched the last episode like a good 3, 4, 5 times, and I tear up every time, especially like when Issa and Molly have their little moment after she got married. Like, ugh, that was just so sweet. And I like how in the last episode, Issa incorporated like people's birthdays, and that's symbolizing how much time passes. Because as an adult, like when you start working and have relationships, having kids, like life just happens. And before you know, you wake up, it's been a year, 2 years since you've seen your close friend, and it's like, what happened? Where did the time go? So I like the way she incorporated that, and of course, I love that her and Lawrence ended up together. Like Issa knew that's what we needed. Issa knew that's what we wanted to see. Like that's what we needed to happen. So I love how she had happy endings for everyone. Like, and that just shows like we can have it all. Like I really like that. Some other great things from 2021 that happened to me. I graduated my bachelor's degree, and I was able to promote at work. So those are two goals I did set for myself for last year. So I was happy to accomplish those. So I was working on that bachelor's degree for a good 4.5 years. Was it 4.5? Yeah, about a good 4.5 years. So I finally finished. So happy. So, fun fact, me and Meg, we both graduated last year, got the same degree, and she actually graduated the day of my birthday. So, PSA, this is a Megan Stan podcast. Like there will be no Megan bashing over here, okay? Please and thank you. We love Meg over here. But but no, like seriously, getting my degree, that was a goal that I really wanted to reach in my 20s. Even if I don't use my degree, because I got it in healthcare administration, even if I don't use it, which I feel like I will, but even if I don't, I still like to have that, you know what I'm saying, like under my belt, just something to add to the resume, something to spice it up. And plus, it was free. got a free bachelor's degree, and I got my associates as well. Like I got associates, it was free, so why not put the work in just for a little bit? But that's my 2021 recap a few moments from last year. Just wanted to highlight. Had so much fun. And I hope this year brings the same kind of vibes. Now, I'm going to talk about New Year's resolutions and goals. So, I'm going to put a question on the podcast Instagram. What are some of your New Year's resolutions and goals? What are some things that you have this year where you have to accomplish that, like no questions asked? Like you're motivated, that's something that you want to accomplish this year. Um so me personally, I don't say resolutions, I say goals. I never been like, oh, I'm gonna set a New Year resolutions. I always say I'm gonna write down my goals for the next year. I'm gonna write down my goals for this year, whatever. Write down my goals for this week. Write down my goals for this month. It's just always goals instead of New Year's resolutions. So that's why I say these are my New Year goals. Um, One of my goals is to generate more streams of income. I feel this is important to have multiple incomes because you have more options and flexibility to do what you want. And when it comes to me, I like to shop, I like to travel, I like to eat all the things I just named. I like to do all the things I just named. I like to do all those things and they cost money, okay? And I need more of it. Like we all who doesn't need more money? Like who does not want more money? So that's definitely one of my goals for this year. To save and also not for that, like to save more for my future house, my dream car, for just the future life that I want to put for myself and my family. Another goal I set for this year is to travel more. Like even though I traveled a good amount, like I travel a good amount each year, I feel. Um, but there's always more. You know what I'm saying? And I really want to take an international trip this year. So that's one of my goals as well. Like I want to maybe go back to Mexico, or I want to go visit the DR. I want to go to Europe. Like there's so many things that I want to do. So one of those are definitely going to happen this year. Like I love traveling. I love making memories, taking pictures, videos, being able to capture those moments while I'm on trips and looking back at them. It's just so special and it's fun to me. And another goal, this is my third one I'm going to talk about. Another goal I'm setting is to read more. I want to read more books. I haven't I used to read a lot when I was younger, but I just got out of it. And I want to pick up more books this year and start reading, like, each month. Maybe each month start a new book. Every other month, start slow, new book, but that's something that I really want to get into. I feel like with me, I'll get into, I like, I used to like reading love stories, fiction, a few nonfiction. It just depends. I do like reading like biographies. I used to like reading those. So those are the genres that I feel like I would like to read. So I'm gonna dig up some books and start reading them. Oh, of course, I said I was gonna name three, but last one, of course, working out more. I need to work out. I have yet to work out this year. I don't know why it's been such a struggle. Like, why is it a struggle for me to get up and go to the gym? Like, do y'all feel me on that? Like, is it just me, or let me know? Because I know it's not, but sometimes I just need to see it. I need to hear it. Like, it's not just you, Tay. I know, like, it's not just you, like, it's been a struggle. But of course, I'm in the military, so I have to do it. So it's gonna happen eventually. That's why, like, I don't really set that as a goal. Like, that's just a goal in life in general. Like, working out that's just the goal. Oh yeah, last but not least, with this episode, COVID. COVID is back. COVID is back popping. I know more people in my immediate family and friends, and that has gotten sick this time, than when it first happened in 2020. So please wear your mask. Try to stay away from super packed places. This spreads fast. I am a victim. I got sick last year in December, and it was just, I am vaccinated, so luckily for me, the symptoms weren't as bad, but it was still kind of bad. Like the cough was terrible. Like I don't wish that on anyone. But yeah, this variant is so mild, so it's really spreading, and it's I feel like a lot of people aren't getting super sick from this variant, so I think that's why like people are kind of like still not, but taking it seriously. But I understand people are over wearing masks and stuff, but COVID ain't going nowhere, so all we got to do is just stay safe, sanitize, keep our distance. But yeah, stay safe with COVID, cause. Okay, so this is the end of my very first episode. I really hope you guys enjoy listening to me talk, a little story time and ramble. Like I try not to ramble, but you guys tell me how I did with that. But I have so many great ideas for this podcast and things to talk about and topics, and also like I said, I'm gonna be posting on the Instagram for you guys to give me recommendations on things to talk about. Follow my podcast if you like what you're hearing and looking forward to more episodes. With my podcast, I plan to upload weekly, every Sunday. Hopefully, that'll be the goal. If I get everything situated every Sunday. Like I said, follow my Instagram at Shaytay and the podcast Instagram. Both Instagram accounts will be linked in the show notes. So that we on the podcast Instagram you can keep up with what's going on weekly, questions of the week, and I'll put like polls and stuff on there so I can talk about on the podcast as well. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back next week to chat with you guys. Bye.